Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us and welcome to our session. My name is Lucia Subarin. I'm an SAP Solution Manager at Google Cloud, and I'm joined today by Mike, Nick, and Jeffrey. I would like them to introduce themselves, so let's start with Michael.
Hi, I'm Mike Palaio from BK Medical. I'm the Global Director of IT. I've been with BK Medical for about 2 years now, and main responsibility over the last 2 years has been splitting our applications from our sister company, Analogic. And that's what we're here to talk about today, why we chose Google. Nick, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Mike. Yep. Thanks for inviting me to speak today. My name is Nick Miltich, CTO at Managecore. I've been with Managecore for about 6 years now. Been in the industry for over 17. And I'm responsible for the technical delivery and the operations for Managecore. And I lead our emerging technology efforts, including architecting and delivering our SAP solutions for customers in the cloud. Jeffrey?
Hello, I'm Jeffrey Hirschheim. I work at Google Cloud as an SAP Solution Engineer. I work in our SAP Center of Excellence. My scope of work covers everything from designing new solutions for our SAP customers to engaging with customers on their specific cloud architectures.
That's awesome. Thank you all for that. And Jeffrey, while I'll still have you there, why don't you tell us a little bit about Google Cloud and what we do and why we're here, basically?
Sure. So Google Cloud, as you may know, is a suite of cloud computing services that runs on the same infrastructure that Google uses for our end user products, such as Search, Gmail, and YouTube. You may have heard of a few of those. We have a robust cloud infrastructure built to handle billions of users with a huge enterprise network. It works very well for SAP and other enterprise workloads because of this scale and flexibility that we have on the platform.
That's great. So that takes me to BK Medical. What do you do?
BK Medical makes ultrasound machines, and we have a specialty practice where we work with urology and neurology. So our specialty is that the ultrasound machines are used in the operating system, and in the operating room. So the surgeons, during the surgery, while they have the person in the operating table, they can do the ultrasounds right there and save a lot of time and be able to react quickly. And we are moving into other areas of ultrasound as well.
That's fascinating. Thank you for that. And Nick, can you talk about Managecore?
Yeah, absolutely. So here at Managecore, we're an SAP technology firm, and we deliver managed services, hosting solutions, and projects around SAP to our clients. So we're an SAP certified partner as well as a premier Google Cloud partner. With our SAP certified specialization in Google Cloud, we've done numerous migrations and projects into the cloud, and we focus solely on getting our customers into these clouds, migrating, doing conversions such as going to HANA or S4 or any of those type of technologies.
That's great. So that's a great starting point then to talk about the IT landscape of BK Medical and tell us the problem statement, right? How this all started, basically. Michael, maybe you can start with that.
All right. The BK Medical landscape, our SAP landscape, is a pretty simple one. We have a dev, quality, and production. We also have a solution manager. And then we have a few interfaces into Vertex and Concur. So, like I said, fairly simple. We also have a couple of data warehouses that we put in the Google Cloud next to the SAP warehouse. And that's it, I think. Nick, unless you know any other servers that I added on there in the last 6 months.
No, I think you hit them all.
It's super interesting. Is this would you agree, Jeffrey, that this is a common landscape? There's a couple of components there that, at least in my opinion, make this very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is very common for our SAP customers, bringing in a mainstream SAP landscape with connectivity out to third-party applications or things like Vertex or Concur or external data warehouses. That's one of the top focuses of moving to the cloud, right, is the connectivity back to either on-premise or other SaaS offerings or other cloud solutions. So this is very common.
That's great. So the next question is why? What led you, BK Medical, to move the SAP systems onto the cloud, and how did you start evaluating cloud vendors?
Okay, well, goes to how BK Medical became a company. We were part of Analogic, and on August 1st, 2019, we split onto our own entity. But at that time, we were still sharing an SAP system with Analogic. So we had to figure out where we wanted to set up our new system. So we had kind of an opportunity to do whatever we wanted to. We weren't tied to any data center. We could choose wherever we want. And our company made the decision that we want to go cloud as much as possible. So this was a great opportunity to move into the cloud. Then going through the investigation of what cloud to go with, we really started working with our partner or finding a partner first. And that's where we came across Managecore. And as we talked through the different cloud offerings that they have, we decided on going to the Google Cloud, that would be the best option for BK Medical.
That's great. Did you have a set of criteria to choose Google Cloud as the best option?
There was, we really were looking at more at the partner side and what the partner offered, because we were looking for a partner that would be able to handle the entire infrastructure of our SAP environment. We don't have anybody in-house that has the SAP. We have infrastructure people in-house, but they've never worked with an SAP system before. So setting up all the interfaces, all the servers themselves, managing the basis. So that's why we look for the partner first. The things we're looking for in the partner are the uptime, the recovery times, all the basic SLAs, looking for good references, and as well as just how we got along with them and how their sales pitch was, and just the technical. And that's why we selected Managecore. They were completely honest with us. They showed us they could talk our language, and we completely understood them. We knew we weren't being sold a bill of goods that we didn't need. And working with Nick and his team, it was very, very easy.
Sounds like a great match. How did that work from the Managecore side then?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with Mike. As we've gone through and really talked to Mike about, what their end state would be, what their problems were, and how we could help solve them, I think it was a no-brainer to move into the Google Cloud. We see that a lot where whether it's a divestiture or it's a environment where the staff is new to the cloud or new to SAP. A lot of clients, such as BK Medical, they're looking for a single source of truth, someone that can do all of that work, and someone that they trust. And I think that's a big component of it, and a big decision criteria around choosing not only a cloud, but a managed service provider or vendor that can help walk you through that process.
Yes, and that sounds like a common concern as well. Jeffrey, would you agree this is what customers come up with, like the knowledge and the integrations and reliability?
Yeah, the move to the cloud is a tricky one, right? You have Mike mentioned it earlier, right? The SAP capabilities is one step of it. Infrastructure capabilities is another component of it, and network, and putting that all together and putting a good security package around it. And so as customers are evaluating their future plans, whether that be on-premise or in cloud, they have to look at what resources they have available within their organization, and what they're going to provide out to a partner, and find the right partner and the right cloud who can help them with that. And we do see this quite a lot.
Yes, I agree. So my question to the Managecore team is, why Google Cloud for SAP, right? Why did you choose to specialize in Google Cloud, and what do you think are the biggest differentiators that Managecore customers can take advantage of?
Sure, absolutely. So Google Cloud, we feel like, has been a great, not only partner, but a great technology to choose. From start to finish, the technology is leaps and bounds. Really not purpose built initially, but purpose built for SAP. It fits naturally because a lot of the technologies inherent to Google Cloud just work well. And from the private networking, DR and HA is a very simplistic task to deploy. And not only is it simple to deploy, but it's easy to manage and maintain. And that speaks volumes to the technology, but it also helps Managecore pass that on to our clients by having better uptime, better resiliency, things such as live migration, the technologies that Google has to offer. That allows for us to sleep at night knowing that these technologies are in place to sustain our clients, and we're not continually having to troubleshoot downtime or troubleshoot issues with infrastructure. Google really has hit the nail on the head with that, and allowed a very stable, robust platform for SAP, and which is really why we chose it, and really the partnership as well. It's one thing to say there's support on the back end, but Google delivers on all fronts. When we have an issue, or when we have a question or a technology concern, Google's there to help us, bringing in army of people who know and understand that particular technology, and that partnership has helped and really reflected in our support to our clients.
It's great to hear that, by the way. So it makes me happy to hear that from a partner. So for BK Medical, Mike, you chose to lift and shift the environment and not migrate into S4, for example. Was there a rationale for that? Are you planning on doing that in the future?
Yeah, the reason why we chose to do the lift and shift as is it was mainly for speed. We're trying to split our companies, and we want to get up running and responsible for our own applications as quick as we can. So the quickest way to do that was to just take as is and move it. And that was all the configuration, pretty much the same server structure, and just lift it over to Google Cloud. So that was just pure speed, and do it the fastest way we can.
That makes sense. For Jeffrey, is this a common pattern?
Yeah, so Mike hit the nail on the head there, right? We have a lot of customers who are evaluating their options regarding S4 HANA, right, or other platform changes. In BK Medical's case, it was the divestiture, right, the split of the two companies that kind of pushed this issue. But for many other customers who are looking at it and they see a really long timeline with lots of obstacles in completing the transformation, particularly when you're looking on premise, right? You're going to have to do some iterations, you're going to have to do some testing. Doing that on premise may be really tricky. So one advantage of doing a lift and shift to the cloud is you can bring everything over how it is now, and all those iterative testing phases, all of the systems that you may need to spin up and down, taking quick snaps of systems when you need to pause workloads and everything. That's a big differentiator moving to the cloud versus trying to take on an S4 project on premise. So we do see a lot of customers choosing the lift and shift mode to get into the cloud, and then leveraging the cloud for their HANA projects or other transformation projects.
Sounds very easy peasy, and then like the right way if you're looking for speed, as Mike said. So Mike and Nick, is that how the migration went? Or tell us about how the migration went. What went well? What didn't go so well?
Yep, I'll take that. It went really well. It was a super successful project. In fact, after it was done, the weekend we had cut over, the next Monday when I came in, just like not sure what to expect, but it was quiet and there were no calls. Everything was just working, and it worked exactly how we said. You leave Friday working on our on-prem system, you come Monday, it'll be in the cloud, and it shouldn't be any different to you except for how you log on through single sign-on. And it was just like that. The CEO came up to me and saw me and just said, everything worked, it was quiet. And I got calls from other managers that it was very successful. They're saying that they were expecting a lot of people to complain and have issues, and everything just worked. But to get there, it was Managecore was able to direct us and they managed the whole project. They took all that responsibility off of my shoulders. They did the complete configuration of the infrastructure. We did a couple of test migrations of the database, and that was the most difficult and scary part of the whole process, is just getting our 680 gig database from our on-prem site out to Google Cloud. We did a couple of iterations of it during test, and it took anywhere between 8 and 12 hours. And on that migration weekend, it took over 14 hours. And so at that 12-hour point, we're like, what's happening? Is this going to make it? Because if that didn't make it, we would have had to pick a different weekend. But we worked through it. We gave it a little more time. We knew when we had to abort the whole weekend, but it ended up finalizing. And then the rest of the weekend went very smooth. I don't know, Nick, if you have anything to add to that.
No, I'd agree. It's very common for that type of migration to happen the way it did. We have a tried and true process that we try to follow and make it seamless for Mike and team to kind of sleep at night to make sure that their systems migrate as expected on that go live weekend. So I'm glad it happened as it did, and like I said, pretty common, but we made it happen with Mike's help.
That's great. Solid plan with solid results. Jeffrey, anything you want to comment on the migration?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it went very well. I think there was a key point there, right? I mean, picking the right partner, picking a partner who knows how to do this, who's been there and done that, is really key. We hear common themes around Google Cloud specifically with flexibility, scalability, and security. But we also hear from our customers and partners that they like working with Google, and they like our strengths in AI ML. They like the partner teams that we have. But again, it all comes down to picking that right partner. And in this case, I think BK Medical got the exact right partner in Managecore, and you can see that by the result of the migration.
That's great. Is there anything on the Google Cloud side that we normally do to help these migrations be successful?
Yeah, I mean, we have partner teams. So again, it comes back to the customer needs to pick the right partner. If they're going it alone, that's fine too, if they have those capabilities in-house. But we do try to support those. We have automatic deployment templates to help deploy some of these systems. So HANA systems or regular NetWeaver systems, we have some templates that help deploy that help build it out. We have build and architecture and design guides for various SAP solutions in the cloud. So we try to make it a little easier, try to give a good starting point to the customer and partner to go from. And then, of course, we always have the ability for them to reach out and get more assistance from us.
Great. So that takes us to more success cases. And hopefully we have a path moving forward for BK Medical, or future plan for the SAP Landscape on Google Cloud. Mike, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we are planning to go to HANA. We're starting to figure out exactly when we will. Another thing with Managecore is that as soon as we went live, we started weekly meetings. So it's really truly just an extension of my team. I mean, we have a way to communicate through a case, through email, and just log cases with them. Then on each week, we can talk about projects and talk about each of those case incidents. So I don't really know any difference that I'm actually working with somebody at Managecore versus working with somebody with my team. So it wasn't just, hey, we got you over Google Cloud, good luck, see you later. They're truly managing my infrastructure and my basis, and even some helping out with the security as well. During those weekly meetings, we started discussing what do we need to do to prepare for HANA. I mean, we know we're on EHP 6, so we need to move to EHP 8, so we need to put a project together for that. We want to run some of the HANA checks to see what our code is like and what changes need to go there. So we're starting to take the preparation steps to make that move, which we don't have the exact date, but we'll start the plan, and maybe within 2 years, we should be over to HANA.
That's great. Sounds so good luck with that. Nick, anything to add regarding plans for the future?
I think, Mike and team are on the right track as we talk about the conversions to HANA, as we talk about, what are the next steps. The beauty of where we're at, in Google Cloud is that we can spin up the sandboxes to try it out. We can just seamlessly migrate because the infrastructure is there and ready to go when we need it. So I think that where BK Medical is and where Managecore placed them, I think they're, we're in a good spot to kind of accelerate and what I would consider transform once you migrate into a cloud like Google, really transform your environment and start modernizing it, if you will. So I'm looking forward to doing the conversion over the next few years.
Sounds good. And what would you advise to any other potential customers that are looking into starting this journey as well? Because I hear this a lot.
Yes. So from my aspect, I would advise definitely looking for the experience of the right partner is key. As Mike mentioned, there's a lot of caveats to going to a cloud, and each cloud has their own nuances. And someone that's done projects like this in the past, successful track records are key. But in addition to that, really focusing on, from a business aspect, what are your key drivers, right? We talked about simple lift and shift. We talked about scalability. We talked about, even the cost does come into play. But I would take all that in consideration as you're trying to determine where and when to go to HANA. Or even to the cloud in general. It's a big decision, and it does come with a lot of different aspects, as even Jeffrey mentioned as well, to talking through and making that decision to pick a cloud and go to the cloud. But a good partner is key to that success.
I'm sure, Mike, you'll agree to that.
Yes, I definitely agree. The partner was definitely the key. They controlled it and managed this project very well. So
that's great. Jeffrey, anything to add in terms of giving advice to potential customers who are looking to migrate onto the cloud?
Not a lot to add. I think, Lucia, you know the situation, and these guys have covered it as well, right? Getting the right partner is a really, really key aspect. People talk about the cloud. They talk about what benefits they might get from the cloud, whether that I'm selfish and use Google, whether that's something like a BigQuery using our machine learning technologies, all these technologies that exist out there. If you don't plan it correctly and you're not looking at it holistically and looking into the big themes that matter to you as a company, then you're going to get caught up in the individual details and you're not going to be able to make that migration successful for you. So definitely the right partner and looking at the big picture, making sure you know what you're trying to achieve.
Totally agree with you. So if anybody has any questions or comments, I think we'll be here for an expert session. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, Nick, Mike, and Jeffrey, for your expertise and telling your story. And thanks for joining our session.
thank you.
Thank you.